All right. I want to thank you guys for being here today. I'm here to talk to you guys about PAWS Chicago. By show of hands, who here has heard of PAWS before, and not just from this video? All right, excellent. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with PAWS, PAWS is the largest humane organization in the Midwest. But they're a no-kill organization. But what exactly does no-kill mean? Now, no-kill is a idea that was started to not use euthanasia in communities that have an overpopulation of pets. Typically, in shelters that have an overpopulation, they end up euthanizing these pets to make space for new pets that come in. So PAWS wants to try to make sure that each pet gets a chance to live and not have to worry about if they're going to be one of the ones that doesn't make it. Now, the idea for PAWS to be a no-kill community actually started across the world in Greece on the island of Crete. Now, the founders of PAWS end up meeting a dog there. The strays kind of wander around. And the dog's name was Pippin Phaseus. It's a little terrier that they really fell in love with because of his personality. Now, they were horrified to find out that at the end of the summer, he was going to be killed because of an overpopulation of the pets. Oh, okay. So they were horrified to find out that he was going to be killed at the end of the summer because they have an overpopulation. Now, they just couldn't have this happen. They really fell in love with this dog, so they ended up adopting him and bringing him back to the United States. Now, upon returning to the United States, they found out that pets here actually don't fare any better than those that are in Greece. And in 1 year alone, 1997, over 42,561 cats and dogs were killed in the city of Chicago alone. That's in 1 year. That's an absurd number. And in 1997, the same year that PAWS was founded, since then, that number has dropped by 70% because of the efforts of PAWS to make Chicago a no-kill community. So, yes?
Like 700 or 800 dogs and cats are killed every week in Chicago?
Thank you for your question. Yes, this was at the time of 1997. Since then, that number has dropped 70%, but this was at the peak of all of this. They have a lot of numbers on there, but it's really gruesome, the number that was happening. But thank you for your question. So, because they found out how big these numbers were, they wanted to make a difference. And this number has now dropped by 70%. So they're well on their way to making Chicago a no-kill Chicago. But PAWS isn't just a shelter organization. They're actually an independent organization that works outside of just providing these animals an ability to be adopted. They work really hard to educate the public about the realities of life that there are for homeless animals. Each one of these animals are often unwanted or are the offspring of other homeless animals, as you could see in that video. These pets, because they don't have a home, they live out and they deal with the elements. There's homeless pets that are dealing with the brutal cold that we had this whole winter. These pets don't have food, and often these get ill and die. Now, some of these animals do get picked up and taken to shelters in Chicago. And some are lucky and some get adopted, but others that aren't lucky and don't get adopted in a shelter that doesn't practice no-kill, they end up getting euthanized. PAWS wants to make sure that every single pet gets an opportunity for a second chance at life and a second chance at love. So by working hard to make sure that every pet is treated ethically, they really want to make this close to home. And that starts with them. So at PAWS, at their adoption center, they don't house their animals in small cages, but rather they house them in a room that is furnished similar to a home, along with other pets. So they interact and so they get to spend time together in an open environment. So these pets are much more happy and healthy. Now, outside of PAWS, they work with other shelters to really make sure that the living conditions for these pets that are there improve. They want to make sure that they're not just being...
You're allowed one water, and you're now up to 2.
Okay. They want to make sure that each one of these pets are not being held in these cages, but rather are given a better chance to better living environment. They also spend a lot of their time working on trying to make sure that each one of these shelters don't use euthanasia. They want to take that premise out so each one of these pets can end up getting this chance at life. And a lot of times, as you can see, they bring pets from other shelters to their adoption center in some of these cases where it's not possible for these shelters to have a no-kill premise. But outside of just shelters and PAWS themselves, PAWS also knows that pet ownership is where ethical treatment begins as well. PAWS really makes sure that each one of the animals that gets adopted have owners that are responsible, that you treat them correctly and give them the love that they need and they deserve. So that's important as well. But on top of everything, PAWS is also the ultimate community organization because they help this community of homeless animals, but they need the help of the Chicago community as well for volunteering. So with all of the different options for volunteering that PAWS offers, it's a wide range, anywhere from actually giving tours at any one of their facilities to also helping some of the potential adopters feel at home and get to know the pets one-on-one. Also, you could even be as simple as doing a pet food bank. So it really makes a difference so they can have each one of these items. The important thing that PAWS wants to do is they want to bring the community full circle. They want to bring I thought I said want to.
You did.
We want to bring the community full circle to make sure that they can give these pets a second chance to live. But this is only scratching the surface of what PAWS actually does. I'm going to pass it off to Liz now, who's going to tell you a little bit more about PAWS.
Thank you, Josh. So like Josh said, I am going to go over the business and successes of this amazing shelter, which I wouldn't even consider it to be a shelter, it's an organization. I do want to open it up with a small activity. I'm going to pass around this petition. It is a petition that I printed out through the PAWS website and organization. It's to petition against puppy mills in the Chicagoland area. And it's extremely important. I think everybody kind of knows a little bit about puppy mills and how horrible they can be. So I'm going to start it right over here. I filled out the addresses Dominican for everybody. But I just thought we could just already start the collective effort to save a lot of lives. So I do want to go over, while it's going around, where PAWS is actually located. It started in Chicago, it resides in Chicago, it's on Clybourne. They also have this amazing spay and neutering center, which is on 26th Street. And I do want to just reiterate what Josh said, at all of their locations where they house animals, there's no cages. They are really animal-centered. They have a lot of volunteers. They accept all of their volunteers so that each pet can get that individual attention that they need. And I do also want to go over the spay and neuter clinic, which is on 26th Street. It's pretty amazing. They are largely involved in education because this overpopulation of animals is creating a lot of euthanasia of animals. And that's not right. And like Josh said, 70% decrease in the amount of pets killed in 1 year. So that's pretty amazing. What they do is they have this truck. They also have the center on 26th Street that performs spay and neutering for low cost to nothing. If you you don't necessarily have to adopt from PAWS to have your pet neutered or cared for in their facility. They just want to work with you and get a low cost for you to help with this prevention. And that's pretty amazing. So I also want to go over what a lot of people like is merchandise. PAWS does a great job of marketing themselves. They have an amazing shop online. Their online website is.
You heard it?
I can hear you.
It's not a big deal, but
Okay.
as long as you're doing it.
Okay, please. Their online website is unparalleled. It's perfectly organized, links upon stories, upon videos of different inspiring animal stories. If you scroll down, you do see that it is a top-rated charity for 9 years in a row now. So that's pretty impressive. As far as the shop, they have t-shirts that say rescue is my favorite breed, mugs, water bottles. You can buy stuff for other people, buy it for yourself. You're supporting PAWS Chicago. And the last thing I do want to talk about that Josh brought up is their community involvement, which I thought is the most fun part of this shelter. What they do is they have a bunch of Chicago events. And I'm going to describe some of them, and I want to picture yourself in them and see if you can see yourself having fun, because I know I can. The first event that they have is a run for your lives. So I know we have athletes in here, people that just want to get fit. It's a run, which a lot of people do sponsor now. And you can bring your furry friend, they can walk alongside you, and it's a lot of fun. It's about, I think it's 8K. And it's 4K for the pets, so they don't get too tired and winded because it's in the summer. Another event, they do have a fur ball, which is a play off of a ball, and it's the waltzing and the dancing, while your dog or cat can have spa treatments. Very luxurious. It's held in the Drake Hotel, and it sounds so fun. And then another one that they have is the Chicago Beach Party. And you can have cocktails, and they have a competition as to what pet has the best beachwear you can dress up your pet. So it's so much fun. They bring everybody together. If you can't afford the events, they don't have the prices, so I'm not exactly sure how much they cost. If you can't afford them, you can buy a raffle ticket. You can win a Sony surround system, which is pretty impressive, some spa treatments for your ladies up in front, and you can also win a cocktail party for 15 friends and yourself. So PAWS really covers all the bases with prevention and fun, and they know how to reach people. And I think that's why this organization is so successful. And Cleveland is going to talk more about the prevention aspect.
Hello. First, what would you do if you saw someone hurting an animal? What's the first step? Where would you go? Please, somebody. What would you do, Josh?
I'd definitely stop.
Well, how so?
Like, hey man, what are you doing that for? And then he'd be like, oh, he's acting up, be like, man, it's not necessary.
Okay, good option. Anybody else? Nobody would call the police or...
Put the notes on the table, please.
Okay, so that's okay. Most of us really wouldn't know what to do next. It is an area that is kind of hazy. So today I will talk to you guys about the prevention of animal cruelty and abuse. So specifically dogs and cats, because those are the most abused domestic animals. Domestic meaning, household animals. So most abusers are teenagers or children, although there have been people of all ages have committed the crime, committed the act. They say because it's children and teenagers, psychological research says that it all falls back on abuse from a family member or something along the lines of that. One second. And this means, nobody in their right mind would hurt a defenseless animal, defenseless person. So, they're not in the right mind. We have to kind of there's no slack for them, anything of that sort, but it is psychological. There are history or previous history, family aspects that have a lot to do with this. Cats have been burned to death. Cats have been put in microwaves to be killed. Dogs have been beaten with rakes and other household items. So if that doesn't really disturb you in any type of way, there's a special place where you're going, I'd say. But the good news is that there are organizations and foundations on the rise, and they're more eminent than ever. We know some SPCA or Animal Aid. We've seen many commercials late night. In our video, we took a clip from a commercial. So they are on the rise. They are more out there. But what should you do if you are serious? That was the original question. And the first step is know who to call and make the call. Because in certain areas, local police is who you call. But in other areas, it's an animal organization or agency that you call that handles that. So, second thing you should do is get to know the animals in your neighborhood. They say this is very key. You would know if Mrs. Jones's pit bull lost 30 pounds over the last week or two. There's sure signs of animal abuse. If you get to know the animals in your residential area, they say it'll be much easier. Next, provide as much info as possible whenever you call, when you do call. They say the first step is making the call. Second step, making the call. People like Josh, his example, he would have went over and started an altercation that really could have been prevented and should have been prevented. The police and other animal agencies, Josh, they don't want you to get involved. They don't. That's putting another person at risk to get hurt. So, next they make the call immediately. Every detail matters, every one. Next, they say set an example. As we're becoming adults, we might have children, some of us might already, some of us might not, if we're lucky. So they say set an example. They say teach a child how to properly exercise the animal. Teach a child about food and water. They say, as Liz and Josh mentioned, spay and neuter your animals. That already reduces any risk of, future stress. And the last thing I want to say that's going to lead into Liz, that's probably the most important. Josh and the other Liz spoke on it a little bit themselves. Donate. These are in our community. No organization can strive for greatness without support of their community. Anything of those sorts. So any dime, every penny that you do send helps. That's Liz. Liz will get into that part. Thank you.
Thank you, Cleveland. Okay, so I want to just let you know a little about how you can get more involved with, saving animals and just helping out and helping support this cause. One way is through volunteer work. You can go ahead and start volunteering, going through the orientation process, going through their training, and there's many positions that you can volunteer as. You can work with puppies, kittens. You can work with the adoption process, making sure the animals go to the right family, making sure everyone works together to make this a whole simple process. Another way to get involved is donating money. And donating money doesn't only include, the monthly $5, $20, whatever. You actually get to choose where that money goes. There are 3 main places where you can choose where it goes. The Sick and Injured Fund, there is the Spay and Neuter Fund, and also there's an option that lets them choose where the money is needed most. There are multiple options of donating as well, and it's an easy and simple process that is all online. You can set up an account if you want to repetitively make a donation. Otherwise, there's a one-time only option where you can also just make whatever amount you want and donate it that way. Another really cool option where we all thought was pretty cool was the Amazon wish list that they have. You can go on Amazon. They do have a wish list that lists everything that they need, from leashes to puppy bowls to treats, anything that you want, anything that they need. You can buy it and Amazon ships it directly to them, which, makes everything more sure that the organization does get their money, does get your donation. Here we have a list of the different amounts that they would like, from their $56 we can make sure that 2 animals get the donations that, or get the vaccinations that they need in order to survive. So with the spay and neuter, that's 86, provide medical care for senior pets. It goes in an increasing amount. And also the various events that you can use, go to also that Liz went over. That's another way to donate money and to help support the cause. Our goal today is to raise $56 to ensure that 1 puppy, 1 kitten, 2 puppies, 2 kittens, whatever animal that really, really needs the vaccinations, we want to make sure that those animals get it. And that means only $2 to $3 per person. And personally, I think we can all scratch $2 to $3.
It's about the money you spent on a delicious Cliff Bar, delicious, but can help an animal from getting sick. So that's what we just wanted to leave you with. We kind of went over the values of PAWS, the business, the successes, and why we want all of us as a community, as PAWS would like us to be involved in this. So if you have any questions, let us know, and we hope that we can reach our goal today. And that's all we've got. Any questions? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Does this also, like, do they have anything else besides dogs and cats, like birds and stuff?
You know, they do have some smaller, like rodent type, but it is mainly dogs and cats. Yeah. That's what they specialize in, yes. Yes? Thank you for the question.
I read something last week that the city of Chicago has passed a law now that any pet shop can only buy from non-puppy mills. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what we were petitioning for. I guess they
passed that law?
yeah.
But it's for pet shops, and I'm sure
Right.
people will still be buying these things online.
Right. It is. There's a huge market for that. But thank you for the question. It does bring to light even more that we need to support this company, this organization.
Good. Okay, let's talk. Begin with Josh. What do you think? Star.
You did great.
Was it great, or just great?
It was great.
No, it wasn't.
I think you opened it up pretty well.
He did a great job, but it wasn't great. What wasn't great, and what was great? Let's break this down. Eric R.
Well, he seemed very enthusiastic, coming closer to us, building connections. I mean, he looked at me directly a couple of times. I see like he looked at other people. He did a lot of meaningful gestures, and he got his point across.
Okay.
And then some.
So why is he getting an A-? Mario?
I guess I would say he's kind of the one, or the one that's. That's kind of what.
Plural. You're allowed one. But yeah, I'm still thinking you're going to get an A in this class, but I've got to see a perfect presentation. And you're working hard at it. This was good. First I said no commercial video, but then I saw how it led into the interview. I think that was done nicely. We have 2 you guys. I'm not really taking off points, but I want you to try and be creative about not using that. Your weight was good. Excellent variability. Your eye contact today was much better. Last time I said I thought you were just kind of seeing through us or you weren't holding us. You worked on that and you got that down. Effective gestures, you handled my question well. I said you were dynamic today, connecting. The one-as and you listened for it because you definitely did say it. Facial variation you had, well rehearsed and smooth. So I'm just giving you the A- to pinch you for that. Right. Liz, how'd you do? Miss Olive.
I think she did good.
Great or great?
Great.
No? Be specific, Olive. What was great? Olive, you can't kick him out of this class without being able to critique a presentation.
You want to have my feelings?
I think she did really good. She smiled and she talked. She brought all the points together.
Okay. Kayla, can you add to that?
I like how she has a very calming voice and she knew her stuff, but I like also Intellis. I thought she did it.
I did too. I thought it was excellent. It is an A minus though, and it's because there were 5 of them, so it's just a little too much. And I think it might have been the first word out of your mouth because I just one comment. Your facial variation was good, your vocal variation, good rate. You sounded convincingly sincere. This was not like a college speech class. This was really a sincere trying to get us to donate to this cause that you think is worthy. I didn't actually see any money coming out. I was tempted to say I would match it if this class could come up with $23, but you didn't even get 50 cents. Presentation ended. Well, the presentation ended and nobody came up with any money. So for the rest of you on these presentations, this is one of those, all of our presentations have got to show that the audience cares enough to want to go into their wallet. Well rehearsed, conversational, crisp diction, lots of nice going to it.
I've been practicing in like real life.
Then at the end, we do want to talk about, you mentioned Josh, but I didn't take off points because you just had the 1 wanna. But you did have the 5 palms. So it's an A minus, pinching you two, you're very good. Okay, Mr. Cleveland. Good or good, good? We're not even going great. Uriel. Good or good, good?
I want to say good.
All right, so now tell us why.
Well, he did lose a lot of eye contact using the note cards. And then that's really all I got. I was focusing more on like the video.
Josh, what do you think?
Oh, he made me critique my guy. I don't know. I thought he did good. I thought he was conversational. I think the only problem was he was way too focused on worrying about what was on his note cards.
And that comes because it's probably the first presentation after the break. He's been in Phoenix. I don't think this guy rehearsed. And based on his own natural charisma, he's able to pass himself off as a B. He got a B on this. But I think this could be an A+ guy. It's definitely there, but you weren't able to give it the time. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay. So my first comment is, why are you holding notes? And if you are having a note, it's only 1 note card. I think you might have actually missed my lecture. You missed the first day of class. When did you start with us? First day? So, I mean, why would anybody walk up with multiple note cards? I mean, that's one of the cardinal rules of my course. No notes. You never hold a note. Third presentation, he's got a flock of note cards in his hand. We have you guys. I want you guys. See what I mean? I want you all and me to try and think of other ways to express that. Over-dependent on notes. Your eyes are not penetrating. So, I am picturing now other courses. Do you have any other presentations this semester, Josh?
Yeah, I'm in advertising class, and I give presentations almost weekly.
Almost weekly.
Yeah.
Are you as good as the others or better than the others?
Better than.
And are you using some of these techniques?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Liz? Are you giving any presentations?
I actually haven't yet.
At the end of the semester, is anybody requiring it?
I'm having one come up.
All right.
In another
And I want it to be like this, only without the arms.
Okay.
And I said you were sort of glazing over us. At times you held eye contact, but a lot of it you were just thinking about, where do I go from here, where do I go from here? Unsure of yourself. After Liz and Josh, you had two tough acts to follow. You looked weak. And I know you can be as good as them. Effective gestures. To me, this was a college speech, which I'm not into. I'm into real life. I'm into seeing you and picturing you in a real situation. And this was like a solid college speech class. Better than average, because that's it's one of